following Four Aces production is for mature audiences only. Listener discretion is highly advised.
Hey, it's another new day. It's a brand new day. I know y'all can only see half my face, but y'all sitting at home can hear me, so that's good enough. What's up? This is K, and I am here, as always, with my other half, Alpha. What's up, my brother?
We're back again, once again, to talk about some comics and some shows and some movies in shit. And this time around, we're going to be stripping right down to the Marvel right away this time. Usually we start with DC, not this time.
We're gonna jump back to the past. Not that long ago, some way long ago.
There we go.
Yeah, like y'all don't remember. Like, let me put it to you like this: Iron Man came out in 2008. So I was 30 years old when Iron Man came out, and I'm almost 44 this year. So, yeah. So it's one of those.
At the time. Fucking Christ.
You know,
Jesus.
But it's one of those days where yesterday I got a bug up my butt and decided, you know what? I was swimming through Disney Plus. I was just telling Alpha I had just recently discovered how to turn it into an app on my Windows app on my Windows 10, and went in and noticed that Disney has in their setup for Marvel, they have all the movies laid out because now all of the movies up through Phase 4 are on there. They have all of the movies out, but they have it. If you scroll down, it has like Phase 1, Phase 2. Phase 3, Phase 4. And then I kept scrolling and I was like, and I came across this thing that said timeline order. And I'm like, timeline? And it showed Captain Marvel as the second movie. And I went, oh yeah. If you go by the timelines within the movies, Captain America is the 1940s, Captain Marvel is the
80s, right?
90s.
The 80s?
Yeah,
90s.
90s. That's where the Blockbuster reference come in, because Blockbuster wasn't around in the 80s. So.
You're right.
But it's set in the 90s, and then you bring it full circle to Iron Man, which is set in like 2008, 2009. So I decided to go on ahead and binge watch these movies. Was actually up till midnight last night getting through everything except for the Avengers movies. I got all the way up to Thor, and then watched Avengers earlier today. And I can tell you this, it's definitely interesting. It's an interesting way to watch the movies. And one of the prime examples of that, I was just talking to Alpha about it off air, involves the Tesseract. Just watching Captain America and Captain Marvel, just taking those two movies as the first two movies. In Captain America, like, nobody can handle the Tesseract. Like, Red Skull barely can handle it. And no human can definitely touch it.
Yeah.
And you literally watch the thing burn a hole through the bottom of the whatchamacallit. And then you get to Captain Marvel, where she's picking the shit up like it's a baby's toy and tossing it around and throws it in a 1950s lunchbox of all things.
Chucks it in there.
Now it burns through the steel of the airplane, but does not burn through the aluminum.
I was gonna say the fucking aluminum of a little lunchbox.
And how does that cat, whatever that thing is, not get burned from the inside out when it swallows it is beyond me. But I did notice that just in watching those first two movies. That was just kind of something that caught my eye. But the movies themselves, very, very well written for both. But I'm gonna say this. I would put it in the top 2 or 3, the soundtrack for Captain Marvel. The musical soundtrack for Captain Marvel was just badass. And the use of certain songs in certain scenes, like you get to the scene where she's on Marvel's ship and she's fighting the other Kree warriors, her squad. And that whole scene, like, you get this fast, action-packed, kick-ass Brie Larson's kicking everybody's ass. She's laughing when she's overpowering people. The whole time is no doubts, I'm just a girl. Why that song fit with that scene so well, I could probably never tell you because I'm not some expert in music movie mixtures. But I just know for me, every time I watch it and hear that song, I jam out and I got chills going down my spine watching her kick ass. But yeah, so let's deal with those two first.
Yeah, let's
Some
start.
thoughts for yourself, sir, on Captain America and then Captain Marvel, because you're really dealing with two different ends of
Yeah,
the spectrum with those two.
you're right. You're right. I really like that. I like that dichotomy. But I really like how the Phase One movies feel so low key, especially isolated down to Captain America. And what I mean by that is at this point, we're very used to the huge galactic crossover bullshit scale in every Marvel movie now. Every Marvel movie is kind of its very own AAA fucking slapbox, you know?
Amen.
But and I don't mean just in like the presentation and the fanfare. I mean just in the way that it's written.
Mm-hmm.
Scaled all the way down to Captain America is such a simple story almost, and I love that. Captain America, the very first one, when isolated down, is just so fluid and such a classic golden age story. You know, it harkens back to the original story of Captain America, and the best part is like, you know, at the time we didn't even think about it as casuals, you know, but as a hardcore, seeing Bucky fall off the train
Oh,
and almost a fucking what was that? Yeah, almost a decade after, then come back. Amazing seeds planted and coming back to that at the right time. That wouldn't have been as effective if Captain America wasn't just so good at the storytelling and losing Bucky. And I fucking love the Red Skull because he's the quintessential villain, you know. You know, when you make a character, all right, you want to hate you want to make them hateable, right? How do you make them hateable? Swastika, make him a fucking Nazi.
make him a Nazi, amen. Who
The
are the
Red
most
Skull,
despised people in history? Yep, go ahead and throw a
Nazi.
swastika on it. Yep.
The Nazi. It's I call it the Wolfenstein rule. You know, the video game Wolfenstein. How do you make it so easy to do these horrible things to these people and name them with such horrible weapons? Make them Nazis. The end. It's the same way here. Red Skull is that to a T. You know, and the best part about Captain America is as it comes down to the reveal and he rips off his fucking face to reveal that he's the Red fucking Skull.
I loved it because of Bucky's reaction.
Yep.
When he rips it off, Bucky's like, tell me you ain't got one of those. Like y'all took the same serum. Tell me that ain't you, please. But no, I agree. The storytelling, I was actually going to mention that. It's like almost like you reached in my head and grabbed the thought. Like the fact that there was a reveal, like you saw him as Schmidt with the whatchamacallit. They never showed you Red Skull on screen until that reveal moment.
Right.
And I loved every bit of that wait. Now it did it was kind of disappointing to me that we really didn't see anything from Red Skull until he pops up in Endgame.
Yeah.
After that, like he just kind of gets sucked to the other end of the universe and disappears for the next 20 years. You know, like
you're right.
or whatever.
That reveal was basically our what we saw of Red Skull for the movie.
Right.
But for what it's worth, it was effective.
It was, and it gave you a lot of heart-wrenching moments. It gave you good feeling moments, you know, and I love the way they built Steve Rogers as a character, from the skinny little guy, even to after becoming Captain America, still not quite being 100% sure of himself, you know, like, and thinking that I'm destined for more than this, you know, and so it was a great way to walk you through and get you behind this dude, you know, like that tagline. You can't beat that tag. I can do this all day. Like you just can't beat that tagline, you know, because we all know whether you can fight, whether you can't fight. All of us want to be that dude that's like, dude, it don't matter what you do. I'm gonna keep coming and I'm gonna keep coming and I'm gonna keep coming and eventually I'm gonna beat you, you know, and it's Steve Rogers was that dude. And Captain America, to be honest with you, the one thing I had forgotten about after watching Captain America the first time, because it's been so long since I've seen the original Captain America, My boy Jimmy Wang Yang.
Mm-hmm.
That's my dog. Like, I loved him when he was with WWE. When I had originally found out that he
Yep.
was in this movie, I was all here for it. And now that I've watched it again, I'm here for it all again. Jimmy Wang Yang is my dog. Like,
fucking great. I don't care what anybody says. He was fucking great as a wrestler, and seeing him in this movie as a kid was like, what the fuck? Great.
And then what's his name? He was Damien Dark on Arrow. I'm trying to think of the name of the actor. I believe he was even the dude who played in T2. Robert Patterson? No, not Robert Patterson.
No, it's not
Batman.
Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I was going to say it's Batman.
No, it's not It's not Robert Patrick either, because the guy that played Damien Dark isn't Robert Patrick. They look similar, but it's not him. But the dude who played Damien Dark is the same dude who played. I believe it was Dum Dum Dugan.
Yeah, Dum Dum Dugan.
Yeah. And whatchamacallit, and I've always loved him as an actor, and this was just another role. He was in a small role, but I loved his role just the same.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when he's like, "Hey, yeah, I'm ready to join your team, Cap, but there's only one thing you got to do for me." What's that? Slams the beer. Open a tab. You know, like
Dugan's
I was
the
just
best.
like, that's awesome, dude.
I love Dum Dum Dugan. He's one of those characters that one of those. I have no powers, but I have more personality, so it's great.
Yeah, big time. Like, and I think that's where it's like, this dude's just a dude fighting for his country and just happened to get swept up in all of this because you know what? He kind of likes killing Nazis. Like, you know, like he kind of likes
Nazi scalps.
All right, but so it was nice moving forward to Captain Marvel. It was nice to see Nick Fury. Young Nick Fury. You know, like the fact that they were able to age Sam back like that using computer graphics was great. Same thing with Clark Gregg, him playing a young Coulson. You know, and I'm going to jump to a scene that's a little bit later on in the movie, but the scene that I love that shows that ever since he first got there, Coulson has always had Fury's back. And that scene when he runs across him and he's like, "Nah, they're not down here," and Fury's like, "My man," you know. And so, like, you know, it just shows that he's always Coulson has always had Fury's back from day one. Yeah, so I love that scene. And then there was another one that I was going to bring up, but I'll let you go ahead and take off while I think about that one.
Good, man. Good. Brew on that. See, my thing with Captain Marvel is this. Like, I don't hate Captain Marvel as a movie. As a movie, I think it's really fucking solid, and I'll get into why. My problem is with the power balancing of Captain Marvel when compared to everybody else in comparison to what she does in the movies. And I don't like not how she's portrayed or this or that. I don't like where they changed the backstory. I think this is one of those times where it's like I don't need it to be 100% accurate, but it's so far removed from it, it's damn near not Carol Danvers.
Okay, fair enough.
And so that's where my problem lies with her character. So I'm just gonna go completely around that and just say what I do like though. So
okay.
I do like the fact that it stays so well in telling you what time it is without slapping you in the fucking mouth with it.
Right.
It shows you what time that this movie takes place in. It shows you, and it like you said, it tells you through the soundtrack, and in so many ways it tells you where this movie is placed at. And I do like the pacing in the movie, and more importantly, I fucking love everything that has to do with Coulson and Nick Fury. I'm a bit biased because I fucking love Coulson. Like through Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and through watching all the movies, I fucking love Coulson. And 90% of the time, they don't fuck up with Coulson.
Right.
And every bit of banter that Sam Jackson has in this movie is fucking golden. Puts the movie on his back levels of fucking comedy. He carries the shit. But in terms of like presentation and visual value, it's probably one of the best Marvel movies. In terms of visual presentation value, I'd put it up there with Ragnarok. It's just that fucking good looking. And I do like the difference in like I said, the scale between how small time almost Captain America feels, and now we're galactic fuckery already. Right next in the timeline.
That's a
Galactic
great
fuckery.
way to put it.
And it's not
Cool.
bad though. It fits the whole story really well, you know.
Yeah. And I thought that it was with the Danvers character, I thought that Brie Larson was definitely likable in the role. I rooted for her watching that. You know, I made it a point to make sure my daughter saw that movie just for the message behind it. You know,
exactly. Yeah.
But overall, like, yeah, I don't think that it was a fairly well developed character, at least not yet. I don't think we've seen like the development of Captain Marvel by far yet. You know, at this point, she's only been in 2 movies, Captain America or Captain Marvel, and then Endgame, right?
Yeah.
So
I think just to ad lib on that really, really fast, I think you're the one that said that if Captain Marvel's was simply introduced way earlier, this would have been a whole different story.
Yeah, no, and I agree. It would, and I will say this: just jumping to Endgame real quick, it disappointed me that her role wasn't bigger in Endgame. It did disappoint me that basically she was like only on screen for like what, maybe the last 15 minutes of the movie, and I'm like,
she
somebody
came in and was like, I'm just here. And they were like, can you help? And she was like, nah, I'm busy. And then she came in the last 15 minutes and that's it, really.
Yeah. I'm like, I get the rest of the world. I get that the rest of the galaxy is like having this battle. It has its own problems, but right here, we could solve the galaxy's problems if you're here to help from day one. But anyway, but needless to say, like it was a situation where I paid a lot more attention this time around, maybe because of Wink Wink WandaVision, to the Monica Rambeau character, and how she interacted with her mother, because when I got to the scene where Carol Danvers basically, you know, was about to go off with the what were they called? Not the Kree, it was the Krolls. She's about to go off with the Skrulls to help them find a new home, and she looks at Monica and she's like, I promise you, I'll be back. And then I think about WandaVision and I'm like, even though I knew this already, re-seeing it again, those scenes make a lot more sense. She said she'd be back. She trusted that she'd be back, and she never came back.
She never came the fuck back.
And by the time she did come back,
it was too late.
Yeah. So it's funny going back and watching those because you have that moment. Now we talk about the time frame of it, and I love it because it immediately, like you're right. Scene 1, they're out in outer space. You got the galactic fuckery, right? And then she comes to Earth. She crash lands in the Skrull escape pod, and what does she land in? A fucking blockbuster.
Yep.
Immediately sets your timeline right there. She crashes into a fucking blockbuster and blows away a picture of, I believe it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and the True Lies movie. So a poster or one of those cardboard cutouts of it.
One of the cardboard cutouts,
they immediately show you exactly where we're at. And I love stuff like that because it's saying where we're at without having to flash a big like 1993 across the screen.
That's
it lets
exactly
me know.
what I was going to say.
I remember when that movie came out. Blockbuster Video, yeah, I definitely remember Blockbuster Video, and so it immediately gives you that feeling, and then like you said, the interactions between Captain Marvel and Nick Fury are
absolutely top tier fucking banter, top tier.
You know, but overall, just and like you say, the movie. For those of you who have not seen the movie moves extremely fast. Yeah. Like you're just boom, 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 and the next thing you
fucking
know,
speeds.
Right. And next thing you know, you're damn near at the end of the movie. Because I to be honest with you, I watched it, but I didn't realize I until I was almost at the credits. I was like, oh shit, movie's almost over.
Yep.
Oh well, damn. I thought we still had a hell of a lot more to go.
Movie. It is.
But that movie was just something that I would say it had an ultimate message. It hyped up its character very well, its main character very well. And I will say, whoever put together that last scene when she's going head to head with the Supreme Intelligence and it's all the Supreme Intelligence is like, you're weak. You've always been weak without us, and it's showing her tumbling. And I love that scene. It almost made me cry in the theaters as you see each version of her get back up and stand up, and it's like, damn right, girl, go ahead, go ahead with your bad self, you know. And so it's definitely a woman power type theme to the movie, and I'm all here for it. I think Captain Marvel could be that character, even though we've had plenty of strong female characters throughout Marvel before we ever got to Captain Marvel, from Maria Hill to fucking Natasha Romanoff to Pepper Potts,
now Wanda.
And now Wanda, you know, so we've had our fair share, but Captain Marvel, that movie definitely sets itself above and beyond.
Yeah, there's a time and a place to do that, and Captain Marvel was that time and place, you know. And even if we roll forward now with the likes of characters like She-Hulk, I'm into it, you know.
All for it. Well, I'll say, okay, so let's move a little bit forward into, and we'll kind of cover both these movies at the same time because they were back to back as far as timeline order go. And that's Iron Man 1 and Iron Man 2.
Are we including OG Hulk in this?
No.
Okay,
no, because that wasn't on the stretch that I watched. I thought about that too, because I thought about the fact that, damn, when I was watching Avengers today, I was like, damn, this is the first time we see Hulk, like in this timeline order thing. So I was like, where would Hulk fit in? And
you're like, oh wait,
yeah. so I believe that's under the Marvel Legacy area of Disney Plus, but so it's not considered canon to this. But yeah, so Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2. To me, outside of Avengers itself, Iron Man has one of the most, in that first set of movies, has the most intense opening scene out of all of them.
Oh yeah. You know
what I'm saying?
In my honest opinion, even up until now, I would say it has the strongest and most intense opening. Absolutely, even up to now.
Yeah. And so, you know, for those of you who don't remember, the original Iron Man opened up with Tony Stark in the Humvee, finally getting the soldiers around him to laugh a little bit and relax. And then the Humvee gets attacked and people start dying. You literally watch one dude jump out to try to fight, get killed. You saw the woman jump out to fight, get killed. The other dude jumps out to fight, gets killed. The other dude's like, stay here, gets killed while he's doing that. Like, I felt sorry for that last dude. I was just like, damn, dude, you didn't even have time to turn around. And then we see Tony Stark, of course, get blown up by one of his own Stark Industry bombs. And it was just an intense way to open any movie at all. But I will hit it from this angle of the growth and development of the character Tony Stark between 1 and 2. There was a big jump there. There was a big jump. And also, I'll say this about 2 before I let you take over with your thoughts. I agree with Jamil. I think they could have made Iron Man 2 more along the lines of the what do you call it, the Devil in the Bottle storyline.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
You know,
that is a more underground storyline.
Yeah.
But I would have fucking loved
or Demon in a Bottle, sorry.
Demon in a Bottle. I'll break into that a little bit. But
yeah, because they gave us a little bit of it with the Rhodey and Tony scene where they're fighting in his Malibu home.
I was gonna say when they're fighting, yeah.
Yeah, you know, they give us a little bit of it, but I think they could have really stretched that out into an entire movie.
God, yeah.
So
God, you're right. I'm so glad you brought that up. So let's start from the beginning, though. I fucking love Iron Man 1. Love that fucking movie to death. And like you said, I love the beginning a lot. You know, you get a very good beginning to the perfect arc of Tony Stark, not even within these 2 movies, but along the entirety of the MCU. Mm-hmm. And it begins so fucking intense, as you say, with all this unabashed death. And then Tony Stark is met with this biblical, like, I am a symbol of all of your sins, about to literally explode in your face.
Yep.
And that is his downfall and what leads to his come up, you know. and it's one of the best beginnings in any fucking Marvel movie, and it's one of the best small tilts on the story of a superhero that the MCU has ever done, even if it is just a small tilt on the story. And it's important to consider the time at which this came out, considering what exactly they're showing here.
Well, and yeah,
Considering where things were at with across the Middle East at the time.
yeah.
But all things considered, though, you see the arc of Tony Stark already begin within the first 30 to 40 minutes of him creating the Chad OG Iron Man suit, which is, I'm in silver metal and I have two fucking flamethrowers, and that's it. No jets, none of that shit. All flamethrower and
No shoulder rockets, no.
None of that extra shit. And it's powered by what is it? It's like a Simon Says, is it? It's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Man.
It's fucking wonderful. I love
I just love the fact that Tony Stark builds an arc reactor in a cave with like minimal fucking you know what I'm saying, things other than just weapons of his own to take apart and put together in a new way. The guy builds an arc reactor. And within
the first sorry, I thought you were done.
No, go for it.
Within the first 30 minutes, again, you're not told, it's not put up in big letters on the screen. It's shown to you like, oh wait, Stark's a fucking genius, isn't he?
Like if finding out that the man graduated at 17 from MIT magna cum laude wasn't enough, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, no, and I definitely and I'm glad you brought that point up as well, because I think Iron Man 1 did a very good job of establishing Tony's smarts. And how intelligent of a man he is, that he thinks differently, he thinks quicker, he thinks at a faster pace than anybody else. You know, and Tony's brain is always processing, always, and to an extent it makes sense. His issues that he has with interacting with other people in what could be quote unquote a normal way is that his brain's moving so much faster than everybody else's. It's like Sheldon on a Big Bang Theory.
Yep.
You know, his brain's moving so much faster than everybody else's that a simple conversation with another human being is almost boring to him.
It's fucking agony.
Exactly. You know, and so but yeah, it did a very good job. It did a very good job of establishing that as much as Howard Stark was a genius himself, he lacked as a father. He lacked in his relationship with his son, you know, and so that also helped lead to some of the Tony issues that Tony had. But from the demon in the bottle thing, real quick before we go on to Thor, with the demon in the bottle thing, I think Robert Downey Jr. is that perfect actor to play out that role.
God, yeah.
Only because of where he came from to where he is, he's that. That's why as soon as I heard him as Tony Stark, perfect.
Can't
get any better.
Yeah.
You know, I'm here for it. And so it's one of those things where I think that he would have been the perfect person to play that out. But we didn't get that. And now the time has passed for us to get that. So
that slid my mind a while ago, but man, that's such a good idea. I agree completely, because the thing about it is the demon in the bottle storyline is so interesting, because it's one of those storylines that kind of deviates from the norm and goes into this super emotional and deeper aspect of the characters. And it was weird at the time because it was very early on when this came out for something to be fitting this. And it was a really sad story about Iron Man and his turn and the way that he turns to alcohol. And you're right, it was lightly touched on in Iron Man 2, but it could have been stretched out way longer. And I think Robert Downey Jr. would have been amazing for it, because he does sad very well. He does sad and depressed amazingly, and we got a good few blinks of sad Iron Man throughout the MCU, but they could have easily gone full throttle like that, and he would have fucking nailed it right on the head.
All right, so going back, watching now Thor, I forgot exactly how much of a son of a bitch Loki was. Like, even having watched the first episode of Loki this week, like I'm like, damn it, Loki, I forgot exactly how much of an asshole you were. Like,
kind of a prick.
But Thor itself was a great movie in the sense of it introduced you to this world thousands of years into the existence of this world, and brought you in and drew you into these characters. Even if you didn't know who Thor was, you wanted to know more about him by the time you finished watching this movie.
Yeah.
You know, Anthony Hopkins, Odin, one of the best
fucking
character matches ever. Not to mention the fact that the man has a booming voice. Like, I love it.
The voice fits it way too fucking well already, right?
Exactly. But yeah, like just the movie itself, I can't say it's like even in my top 5 of my favorite of the 22, you know, movies so far, or 22, 23 of the movies so far. But I can definitely say that it did a good job doing what it was supposed to do, setting you up for the world of Thor, introducing you to Asgard, introducing you to the idea of the 9 realms, introducing you to Odin in Norse mythology. If you didn't know much about Norse mythology, you could learn a lot by watching Thor. There's a lot of homage paid to actual Norse mythology in there.
You're right.
So your thoughts on Thor, the original as a whole, sir?
Yeah. Okay, look, I have some unpopular opinions about the original Thor movie. I don't hate it. I don't think it's a bad movie. Okay. But I do believe that the way Thor is structured is a bit restrictive to the people that play in it. Okay. And that's a bit weird of a statement. I understand that. So let me elaborate.
Okay.
Thor is a great place to start from when talking with the lore of this. As somebody who has studied Norse mythology fucking extensively, you're right. When you listen to the script, especially, and you listen to every little thing they're saying, and you look at all of the different symbols and everything else that is going on in Thor, there's a lot of amazing homages to the entire story of each character and accurate little pieces of the mythology hidden in here. And that's fucking awesome. Mm-hmm. And all the little parts of Thor, I fucking love. Me and one of the things that me and all my buddies quote more than anything is, I like this. Another, and we'll just scream that with whatever we have in our hand. And so if we're doing anything and we find anything we like, it's, I like this, fill in the blank with whatever that is. Another. That's the joke, and we do that fucking constantly, and that's obviously ripped from that. There's a lot of amazing little moments in Thor the first, but I feel like there are just a little too many times where it takes itself too seriously, especially with the amazing comedy chops of Hiddleston and fucking who the fuck plays Thor? Hemsworth. Hemsworth. The amazing comedy chops of Hemsworth and Hiddleston, not just together, but as separates. And a lot of my favorite parts I realized in the Thor movie were where they finally let him show those peaks of those comedy chops. And so I feel like there's a few times where it takes itself a little too seriously, but that doesn't make it a horrible movie. Exactly. Especially when compared to the rest of the movies, it's not a horrible movie. It's an okay movie. I still like it, and I still like everyone's place in it. You know?
Amen. All right, now the big finale. The movie to kill all movies. The movie that I went and saw at midnight with the manager from my restaurant, and we had been hyped about it for like 2 weeks. Avengers. And I would say possibly up till that point. Now, mind you, we're not talking about all the stuff that's come after Avengers. Up till that point, possibly one of the most well-made superhero team movies I've ever seen in my life. Like everything
the
about
best
that
superhero crossover up to that point.
Yeah, like everything about the movie was put together well. And like you say, it jumps you immediately. It's another one. This is why I say Avengers is on that list too of epic openings. It jumps you immediately into it. By
right into Loki's invasion.
Right, exactly. And it's just like, and you're watching that whole shield building and everybody's driving and so on and so forth. And Sherbatsky, for those of you who've never seen How I Met Your Mother, you know what I'm talking about. And you go, 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 go. And then you hear Nick Fury's voice. We have a world level threat here. It's time. And I'm like, yes. And then that brings you straight into the dude. And I'm like, yes, let's go. You know, because I'm like I say, you see, even sitting in the theater, like as soon as that scene hit, as soon as Fury says that, and that big A comes up on the screen, everybody is
chills.
Yeah. You know, everybody's cheering their ass off. You know, and so that movie delivered on every level. on every
Yeah.
level. I will always say this because I just recently rewatched it. I will always say this. My favorite scene, one of my favorite scenes in that movie is the scene when Captain America comes down and he's talking to the cops right after the invasion starts. He's like, "Hey, so we're gonna need people here. Y'all need to get these people down here. I need a barricade set up back to 39th Street." And the cops like, "Who do you think you like? Why should we listen to you?" And then one of the Chitauri comes and he's like, "Blah, blah, pink." And dude's like, "All right, look, we gonna." And I laughed my ass off in the movie theater, and I still laugh my ass off right now. Love that
fucking scene.
But it did a great job of introducing you to Thanos. But okay, here's what baffles me. In Endgame, when Loki is about to go, is dealing with on the Asgardian ship, he's dealing with Thanos. It almost as if Thanos acts like he doesn't know who Loki is. And I'm like, wait a minute, weren't you the one that gave him the Chitauri in the first Avengers movie to attack Earth? Like, you should know who Loki is. And it just felt like he didn't. And so but like his scenes interacting with him, it brought that into my head. I was just like, that made no sense. But
right.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about it like that.
But your thoughts on Avengers, sir?
Oh man, Avengers for me is where I put my hallmark of where after the Avengers, not like Avengers, but after the Avengers, every movie after the Avengers is where Marvel started to get just a little convoluted in the way that it approached things. Avengers, in my opinion, is the perfect golden age superhero story. You know, you have all of these good stories all building up to this, and you don't get this kind of feel that all of those were not as important as that, but that they were all little pieces leading up to this big moment. And the thing is, up to this point, when you look at all the villains that have come to this point as well, you get this feel like, oh wait, now you understand this is an Avengers level threat. This is something above all of them individually and means them coming together. And of course, the classic is always that the Avengers always come together for the first time against Loki. And so that little tick is hit fucking amazingly. And even by the end of this movie, we have little bits and pieces of character work from all of them. Like by the beginning, we see the Hulk have to be pacified. By the end, he's freely pacified, you know?
Yeah.
Even with little things like that, it's taken through this, the common theme in Avengers that everyone kind of has their own little story coinciding into one really big one. And the Avengers was that for the first time and done pretty fucking well. It's classic and it's simple, and I like that. And that's why I like the first Avengers movie.
And after rewatching it and thinking about Age of Ultron and Infinity War, I noticed the pattern. If you watch all four in sequence, it jumps off the screen at you. But there is a pattern to every Avengers movie.
Yeah.
There's the scene when they have to establish the threat. There are the scenes when everybody is reluctantly coming back together to fight the threat. And then there's the all is lost moment where you believe that the bad guy is won. And then there's the Avengers moment when they come back and pull it off. The only movie that does not follow that formula is Infinity War. And that's because Infinity War ends at the all is lost moment.
Yep.
That's the only one that doesn't follow that exact script of the all is lost moment, and then the Avengers make the comeback. But Age of Ultron does.
Because that's the point of Infinity War is to be that moment where they don't win. Yeah.
Right. And so, but I noticed that Endgame, Age of Ultron, and the original Avengers all follow that rotation. And so it was just funny. But Avengers, if you watch it like that, trust me, you go back and rewatch it, that pattern stands out to you. But I loved every minute of it. I still smiled my way through the entire thing. You know, I'll bring up another moment of when, before we wrap this up, of when Tony Stark has his aha moment with Loki's plan when they're on the ship, and he's like, no, he wants to be center stage. He wants to be he'd want a monument built to the sky with his name on it. Oh shit. We gotta go. It was, it was that aha moment when he's like,
there we go.
Yeah. And so, but moments like that always, it made the movie. But any last words on it before we wrap this up and get to this break?
No. That's everything I had on Avengers. It got me there.
All right. So thank y'all for listening in. We will be taking our podcast promo or commercial break if you're watching us on YouTube. And we will be back after break to talk. Well, Alpha's going to take over the show and talk to us a little bit about some upcoming video games.
Yeah, we'll
I know
some video.
We haven't talked some VGs in a long while. So it'd be good to talk them. And there's one I actually want to tell you about that I found on my PlayStation, or I found on my Xbox, that Xbox Game Pass has for free right now.
Smart.
Game Pass. So if you're into mechs, I got the game for you. But check in with us after the break for that. You're listening to the Cheap Pop Podcast or watching the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network, Double KK Double Network, and me and Alpha. We'll see you after the break. Peace. You're listening to the Cheap Pop Podcast right here on the Four Aces Presents Radio Network. Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and wherever you may find your favorite podcasts.
So, what's up? Steve Fingerstyles here, the host of the podcast, spelled DA, of course. Tune in each and every week to hear what pisses me off, what angers me, what I make fun of, and of course, my crazy rants. I also have incompetent co-hosts, cool guests, and a silent producer that sucks. So what more do you need from a podcast? You can listen on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, SoundCloud, and the Pod Bros Network. Peace.
Man brain. You know you want it. You know you need it. Let me introduce you to our team of audio professionals, 100% committed to giving you the greatest extreme comedy podcast of all time.
What's SPH? I'm so super cute.
Send me your orgasmic release videos.
You can get it rootin'. You can get it tootin'. You can get it doing doughies in your yeet. Mi nombre es Tío Yeti. And you just laugh at little Hank. I ain't gonna pretend I is fresh. But looks like you might like that.
And most importantly, I'm Skullfucker. Rah! Go to manbrainpodcast.com to get orally violated. Manbrain out.
And we are back, y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? I know we doing good. So we're going to kick off the second half of this show with my brother from another mother, Mr. Alpha, and some video game recommendations that he has for some games that are coming out soon. Take it away, brother.
How we doing? All right, now we're going to be stepping into the video corner for just a small moment. Now I've been consuming nothing but reveal trailers over the last few days because it's E3 season. And, you know, in the next few days, we're going to be getting a Nintendo Direct as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit if we have some time. But for now, let's just start with what was revealed. We saw some peaks of Halo Infinite, which is going to be fucking amazing. And it looks fucking beautiful. And as you would expect, that's going to be an Xbox exclusive. And now our next thing that I want to talk about is Starfield. Starfield is a completely fucking new IP made from one of my favorite developers, Bethesda Softworks, the people who make Fallout, the people who make Skyrim and Elder Scrolls and all that good shit. Those guys. They're going to be making a new game called Starfield, and it's also going to be an Xbox exclusive. It's going to, and it looks fucking amazing. They clearly wanted to step out of it. What's up?
Oh, what type of game is it? RPG, like first-person shooter?
They haven't shown any. They've literally just revealed it. They haven't even shown any gameplay footage or revealed what type of they're going to be running with. But if they're sticking with the main line of how we see Bethesda Softworks games work, you can probably expect it to be about a first-person kind of game. You can expect that, probably a first-person RPG.
All right, awesome.
Yeah.
Like I'm here for
that. It's an Xbox exclusive. That's all I know.
Xbox, yeah, man.
Yep, own that. Now we have probably the one thing that I did not fucking expect the most out of these last few set of reveals now, but I think it's the right time to do it. We have confirmed an Avatar video game. And I'm not talking The Last Airbender, I'm talking James Cameron's Avatar. We're going to be seeing a full-scale Avatar video game. And at this point, now that I thought about it, I was like, at this point in gaming, I think we're probably at the point where we can even put that into a game cohesively with how fucking massive that movie is. Now with the current tech, I think we can actually even translate that. Now we even have the fucking capability to. But what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that?
I see it as an opportunity. If I don't know what type of game it's going to be, but I would say in order to get me hyped for it, maybe kind of like a first person game where maybe you're either a new character or you're a character in a similar role to the main character in the movies. And you get a chance to, maybe jump into the bodies of one of these, one of the characters or one of the tribesmen from Avatar. That would set me off right. But just like a basic, just kind of like RPG, shoot 'em up or something like that, wouldn't necessarily get my money. Like I might get it if it comes on Game Pass, like when it gets there. But like as far as me going and spending $60 on it, I don't know. I don't think I'd really want to play. Now, okay, let me restate that. I wouldn't mind playing it as a StarCraft style RPG. I would not mind playing an Avatar game of that style of RPG. But But other than that, I will have to see when they actually release it or when we start getting more footage for it.
You're right. Yeah, they just showed a little teaser trailer of one of the characters flying on the big like dragon thing that they had in the movie, and that was it. And it looked really really fucking cool. But there's nothing from the game yet. But you're right. If this goes down like Aliens versus Predator, like Colonial Marines, no, this is horrible. I'm gonna shit all over it. I'm gonna throw it in the trash. Hatred. But if this ends up being something more nuanced than that, being more specific and has some more taste to it, which I hope it will, I think it'll be worth it, But that is all dependent on what we see going forward from it, though. And now rolling on to the most important part of all of this, in between all of these things, there was a lot of little indie titles announced for most platforms, and they all look pretty damn good, But the one thing that I've been waiting on more than anything else is Elden Ring. Outside of the Soulsborne circle, you might not have heard about this, but Elden Ring is the latest project out of Miyazaki and crew, the people over at FromSoft who make the video games, including Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Demon Souls. Yeah, you understand their whole system of work. This is their latest project. The difference is that this project was collabed with and worked on part by George R.R. Martin.
Really?
Which is putting a whole new twist on this, because now this is the first time in a Soulsborne game that we're going to be able to ride a fucking horse. We're going to be able to do insane magic. There's a lot more reliance on it. I mean, we've always been able to do magic, but this shit looks insane. Nice. The bosses look insane as you would expect. The graphics look spectacular. And in perfect Dark Souls fashion, everything has that kind of gross sort of, why would I want to touch that sort of vibe to them. It looks fucking insane. And I'm so fucking into it.
Nice.
Outside of the Soulsborne circle, I don't see why someone would be excited for it. But it looks fucking amazing. And I recommend everyone check out the trailer just to see it.
Well, I can say this. When it comes to video games today, developers have a very, very, very hard time impressing me. Oh, sorry, bro. I completely forgot this is when Brad Maddox showed up.
Oh shit! You're right. That's his debut as a ref. That's his debut as a crooked ref. You're right.
It just hit me. I'm watching. I was like, that's Brad Maddox.
That's Brad. Come on, the NXT Women's Championship Maddox. Oh my god.
Anyway, okay, sorry. But yeah, no, like I think developers have a hard time getting my money because there's so many games that have come out in the past like 2 decades that I played and never finished and still kind of want to go back and finish. That I've got this backlog of video games that I haven't played.
Feel it.
You know,
I feel it.
and like I have like I want to say I have close to 50 or 60 games between the Xbox Series X and my Xbox One and my PlayStation 4. And I only play about 5 of them on a rotation on a regular. Like I've started games on a bunch of them, and like because like I got old school Xbox games like SSX and stuff like that.
Right.
You know, and I've played them a few times, and when I get really bored, I go on ahead and I play them. You know, but like I only really play my main games, my Madden, my NBA 2K, MLB 20 the show, or MLB 21 the show, games like that. And so like, but it's really really interesting. Now, mind you, I have really been playing a lot. Not to stop you, but
Good though. Good.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Good.
The Yu-Gi-Oh, the Dawn
Dude,
of the Duelist.
Fucking loved that game.
I'm playing
Holy shit.
Through the storyline wise, bro. I had a 44 turn matchup between Seto Kaiba and
44 turns. Holy shit, dude.
I'm trying to remember the name of the woman with that has the Millennium Necklace. Holy
shit.
But yeah, like man, and it was like because I'll tell you like this. If you know anything about the card game Yu-Gi-Oh, like I still own decks. Okay, yes, and I know that's sad to admit as a 44-year-old man, but yes, I still own Yu-Gi-Oh.
I still have my stack.
Yeah. But the first draw I got in this in my first turn of this 42 turn matchup, Exodia, two blue eyes white dragons, and 2 spell cards and a fucking trap card.
You bitch.
Hold on. What the fuck am I supposed to do with that?
How do you cast either 3 of those?
I can't cast Exodia. I can't summon my blue eyes white dragon. Neither one of the magic cards that I had would help me with that. Both of them were about having the hit power of my opponent's monster before it hits me. I'm like, what am I supposed to do with this shit?
You can't even cast those with that deck.
Yes. And so and this is not mind you, I played that matchup 5 times before I finally beat her, because every time that I played it, I'd always get a shitty draw of like 3 magic cards and 2 trap cards that give me nothing.
Trash.
And then she's bringing up all these monsters and attacking my life points, and it was just like, man. But I did eventually have a good set initial draw, and was able to put like 2 blue eyes whites and Exodia on the field like by my 5th turn, and it just destroyed her from there, and ended up winning the match.
Christ, man, you would have had to. Fuck that, Jesus, 44 turns, man. That's fucking arduous. Holy shit.
Oh man, but yeah, I've been playing that game a lot. I'm getting kind of bored with my NBA 2K21. Just a side note, only because of the fact that I've created this Warriors team that I've already won a championship with, and this season so far they're 59-1. They've won 50 consecutive games.
59-1.
They're averaging. Now, mind you, I have not played a single game. This is simcasting all of my games.
It's fucking hilarious.
They're averaging like 170 points a game.
They're fucking destroying them. It's so good.
It's just straight hilarious to me. It's gotten to the point where I'll sim a couple of games and then just be like, you know what, this is boring. I'm tired of beating everybody by like 30. So like, I'll just turn it off for a while and come back to it.
Tired of winning. It's too good.
Yes, man.
It's too good.
When you get to 59-1, it should be, you know what, you don't have to play another game for the rest of the season, because even if you lost every single game for the rest of the season, you'd probably still be in first place. So like here's your bypass to the playoffs. Just go wait to find out who your opponent's gonna be.
Just go.
Y'all ain't gotta play another
game. Go there,
the
find out who you're fighting. Like fucking Shao Kahn.
Oh man.
Shao Kahn of the basketball game.
But yeah, but
That's too
I
good.
have fun with that. On a different side note, with my MLB 21, my homeboy Scotty P, shout out to him. Check out his YouTube channel where he shows clips of him playing MLB to show 21. I was having issues. Like my guy was batting like 085. I had like no home runs. I had like 6 RBIs, and I'm like,
Oh man,
20 games in. I was pitching really well, but I just couldn't get that hitting going. Well, he taught me about the equipment and how the equipment helps you out. And then he told me which view to look at for the hitting. And now my guy's hitting like 220. I've hit like 3 home runs since he showed me how to do that.
there you
I put on a bunch.
go.
Yeah, I put on a bunch
Now
of
you're
I put on a bunch of
cracking some shit
equipment.
up.
But here's the thing that I figured out that pissed me off. If your player is a two-way player on the road to the show, which my guy is, he's a two-way player. He plays left field. He's a starting pitcher, and he's left field. If you go into Diamond Dynasty and try to use your dude, it'll only allow you to use him as one or the other. It only allows me to put him in as a starting pitcher. It won't allow me to put him in as a left fielder. And I'm like, well, God damn it, that means I never hit.
That's fucking gay.
So, but
it means I can't hit shit.
You know. But anyway, your final thoughts on upcoming games, sir.
Man, yeah, fucking one last thing, because you completely brought it up there. You fucking got it out of me. One of the indie titles that was released reminded me a lot of SSX. Strikingly so, it's called Shredders. It's another Xbox title that's going to be coming out, and it looks pretty fucking great. Reminded me a lot of SSX, yeah.
I could do another modern day like SSX. Like I love that game. I used to sit there for hours with my homeboy just running tracks, racking up points, man. And I wouldn't mind doing that again.
I loved SSX on the PS2, bro. Loved SSX on the PS2.
Oh yeah. Tricky, I wasn't as big of a fan of Tricky as I was the original, but I loved them both.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that was that. What else was it? Oh, so the game I was going to tell you about real quick before we jump to our recommendations.
Go ahead.
If you are a fan of games like Armored Core, I don't know if anybody remembers Armored Core. I think you will.
Yes, sir.
But Armored Core allowed you to use basically like a mech and build your own fucking mech and use it in battle and fight these other guys in their mechs, and you could do it online and all that. Well, I haven't been able to find Armored Core like for any system. Like at all. Like I haven't been able to find it for the PlayStation. I haven't been able to find it for the Xbox. But I went looking.
Worst part is right now, man, you're gonna have to check Steam for that one. Go ahead, though.
All right. But I was looking around and I found this game called Mech Warrior. And it's on game. You could actually get the game that I'm about to talk about right now on Xbox Game Pass for free. You can download it. And it's called Mech Warrior 5. And the game is pretty damn sick. The only thing that I don't like about it is the way the controls are set up for the Xbox. Your right hand controls your lower body, your left controls your upper body. So there can literally be times if you get confused where like your legs will be going this way while your body's facing this way and not on purpose. Like but I will give them this, that they did give us they did give you the ability to just press Y and it automatically lines everything back up and you can start walking straight again. But yeah, it's but I went through the intro of it. And the reason why I bring the game up is because it had one of the most interesting intros I've ever seen in my life. Like it takes you in this thing where first it takes you through the training thing and has you learn how to run your mech and everything. And then it takes you to the scene where the dude's with his dad and they're both in mechs and they're like patrolling this area. And the dude takes his dad into this dangerous area where his dad ends up in this fight with this other mech whereas he gets his arm blows off and gets back to the ship. The ship's going to take off. And he's like, no, we got to go back for my dad. And they're like, we can't go back. It's too risky. And then they go to the dad. And he's like, go on, son. You guys leave. I'll handle this. Like, I'll handle this, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I know you'll be great, son. And it's like tears coming down your eye. And you're watching it. And then you watch this dude literally get shot back to where he's standing between these two power things and and then he gets shot like 3 more times and blows up as this kid's flying away on this ship, and he's like, "No, Dad!"
God damn.
And then you bring in the title, Mech Warrior 5, and I'm like,
Well,
what the hell?
God damn.
That was entirely too deep for a fucking video game intro. Like, fuck the developers that made that for making me feel like y'all can kiss my ass for that shit. You know,
you said I just want to fight some robots, and you gave me feels.
And so, needless to say, I haven't had a chance to really play it as much since then. I'm going to jump back into it in the next day or two. But it just feels like it's an amazing game. And so, it's one of those things. Just like he says with the new games that are coming out, if you got Xbox Game Pass, it's worth the download.
Yeah.
And it's fun to play. So
yeah.
Now, damn it, I forgot what my recommendation was. Oh yes, movie recommendations, movie or show recommendations by me and Alpha.
Recommendations. Let's roll it.
We're gonna close with this. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. My recommendation is this movie. If you are a fan of Hamilton, if you love Lin-Manuel Miranda and the things that he does, if you've seen him like on YouTube with James Corden doing, which by the way, the YouTube Celebrities in Cabs, I don't know what it's called, like with James Corden, where he rides around like driving a celebrity around like he's in his taxi.
The one that he karaoke celebrity, whatever. Yeah.
The one I showed it to you, the one that he did with Lin-Manuel Miranda, Hamilton, from the Tony Awards, is worth a watch. But if you like Lin-Manuel Miranda, if you enjoyed if you enjoyed Hamilton, I would say check out, it just released on HBO Max on Thursday night, a movie called In the Heights. It was actually Lin-Manuel Miranda's first Tony Award winning play before he wrote Hamilton. So, and it's been adapted into a movie that actually stars, if you've ever seen Hamilton, the man that played Lawrence played Hamilton's son in the second half of the play, Anthony Ramos, is actually the lead in the Heights, and he actually was the lead. I believe he was the lead for the stage play as well. So he's the lead for the actual movie, even though some of the other characters are different, or some of the other actors are different. But it's worth to me, it's worth a watch. I recommend it. Alpha, you have a recommendation for the folks?
Let's roll it. Okay, so in the light of things that I have said earlier, I'm a huge Soulsborne nerd. Love me some Soulsborne shit, you know? And so I've isolated it down before, but let's talk a little bit again about Bloodborne. Bloodborne is interesting in the context of all the Soulsborne games because it isn't in the same genre. It's in the same, technically and hands-on, and the way it plays, it is a Metroidvania like the rest of Soulsborne.
Okay.
But in terms of tone and presentation, it's a Lovecraftian horror story.
Nice.
It's a crazy, and if you know anything about Lovecraftian horror, they're convoluted, curvy stories about the insanity of man.
Okay.
Bloodborne is, in my opinion, one of the best Lovecraftian stories ever to be created, much less to be put into a video game. And I recommend everybody play it because just for the story, it's fucking insane. It's being adapted into an HBO Max show.
Nice.
That's going to be coming in the future. And you know what? That's my recommendation. Keep your eyes out for the upcoming Bloodborne TV show. There's no massive date on it yet. And so I can't predict if it's even going to be coming out soon. But I heard that's in the brew. And you know what? That's what I'm going to bring attention to. Fuck it. The Bloodborne TV show. And I've heard that they want to like have a boss at the end of every episode. And even if it is brought down to that, fuck it. I'm into it. Because the bosses in Bloodborne drip eldritch horror. It's amazing.
All right, so that'll wrap us up for this week. I want to thank you guys again for listening in or watching us on YouTube. Please continue to support, click and subscribe, and allow us to continue to entertain you with our thoughts on wrestling, comic books, video games, Marvel movies, DC movies, all of that. We're here for all of them.
Yeah.
Alpha, any last words?
I'll resonate with that. Thank you for watching us and keeping up with our little content and hearing our voices and opinions on a number of different forms of media. My people, please Be safe and have a great day as we approach this hot fucking summer. Peace.